What is up, guys? It is Layton back at you with another Star Wars video for the channel. As you saw by the title, today we are doing the top 15 most powerful dark side users of all time, including legends and canon all across the Star Wars timeline. Some of these characters you may have not heard of before, so you'll add a little bit more Star Wars knowledge to your brain. Some of these characters I absolutely love, so I know a lot of knowledge about them, and some of them I had to just do a tiny bit of research on them just to regather the knowledge of the character. But some of these characters were from past video that I made, my top 15 favorite Star Wars characters. Please check that video out if you have not already. So yeah, some of these characters you may have heard of, and some of them you have not heard of. So yeah, you'll probably learn a few fun facts today. So for each character, I'm just going to give a quick brief explanation about them, their backstory, and what made them powerful. So yeah, let's just hop straight into the video. Alright, so at number 15 we have Tuluk Horde. He was known as the Lord of Hate and Master of Gathering the Darkness, legendary Dark Lord of the Sith who ruled during the early Sith Empire. So he was a character that was at the very start of the Old Republic era. What made him very successful in duels was his speed. His speed was very, very quick, and his quickness is what made him successful in duels. He is probably one of the quickest Sith Lords of all time, but his force powers weren't as powerful as some of the Sith. So I put him at number 15. Some may have not have heard of him because he's a character from the early Sith Empire, and that was at the start of the Old Republic. Absolutely love Tuluk Horde. Put him at number 15. Let's go to number 14. So at number 14, I have Darth Maul, a Zabrak Sith Lord that ruled Dathomir, and his brother being Savage Opress. Darth Maul's quickness is also what made him very, very powerful in duels. Not successful, but powerful in duels, and very, very competitive in duels. Very hard to fight in duels. His new show, the Shadow Lord Darth Maul show, I absolutely love that show. Him being featured in the Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and Star Wars The Phantom Menace as well. I didn't put him as high on this list as some may, because with him being defeated by Obi-Wan not just once but twice, that kind of lowered him down. And some of these other characters are a lot more powerful than Darth Maul. He's actually featured in the last video being my top 15 favorite Star Wars characters. Please go check that out when you have time. But absolutely love Darth Maul. He's a lot lower on this list. Some may argue that he should be a lot higher, but I put him at number 14. So let's go to number 13. At number 13, we have Darth Malak. He was a Jedi Knight that became a legendary military commando in the Mandalorian Wars, his master being Darth Revan. What made him powerful is from him getting the teachings from one of the most powerful Sith Lords of all time. That's what made him really powerful. Darth Malak's quickness was also what made him powerful as well in combats and very successful. So Darth Revan's also on this list. He's a lot higher than Darth Malak. But for him to get the teachings from one of the most powerful Sith Lords of all time, that's what made him really powerful. Absolutely love Darth Malak. Some might not be familiar with him, but he was the apprentice of Darth Revan, of course. He was in the Old Republic era, fought with Darth Revan a lot. And so yeah, absolutely love Darth Malak. A lot more Sith Lords that were powerful than him, but his skills in combat is what made him powerful. So he wasn't as strong in the Force as some of the other characters that will be featured in the video. Love Darth Malak. At number 13, let's go to number 12. At number 12, we have the only woman dark side user being Darth Zana. She was the apprentice of Darth Maul, and her apprentice being Darth Congus. She actually defeats Darth Bane in a duel. And so yeah, she defeated Darth Bane in a duel, and so Sam may just be familiar with her just because she defeated Darth Bane in a duel, Darth Bane being in this video as well. Love Darth Zana. Her anger is what made her powerful. Her anger is what made her very quick in battle, very successful, very, very, very underrated character. If you have not heard of her already, go research about her after this video. Love Darth Zana. She's probably the most powerful dark side user as a woman character. Love Darth Zana, very underrated character. Her appearance being in the Old Republic, and so yeah, I put about number 12. Like I said, there's a lot more powerful dark side users than Darth Vader, but she's a very underrated character, and she's one of my favorite Sith Lords. And so yeah, I put about number 12. Let's go to number 11. At number 11, I have Darth Tenebrous. He was the master of Darth Plagueis, who ruled in the final years of the Galactic Republic. So he was a lot later than in the Old Republic era. Love Darth Tenebrous. If you have recognized him by the picture on the screen, he is the same species as the musicians from the Cantina, that species being called the Biths, Biths. What made him really powerful is his Force Lightning. He was very quick with the Force Lightning. You never expected him to use the Force Lightning in combat. And so, love Darth Tenebrous. Him being the master of Darth Plagueis, that's what made Plagueis a lot more powerful than him. So Darth Plagueis is also on this list. We'll talk about him a little later. Very underrated character. He actually had a mask to keep him alive in the Old Republic era. Love Darth Tenebrous. He wielded a red lightsaber with the Force Lightning. That's what made him really powerful. Some may argue he is the most powerful dark side user to use Force Lightning, but that's just me. He may not be, but that's just me. I put him at number 11. There are a lot more powerful dark side users than him, just because he used Force Lightning a lot more than the Force. And so put him at number 11. Let's go in the top 10. In the top 10, we have Darth Bane. He created the Rule of Tool and rebuilt the Sith Order years after the Galactic Republic. So Darth Bane, what made him powerful is for him to create the Rule of Tool. That's what made him really, really powerful. He featured in the Clone Wars. If you have watched the Clone Wars, you know how powerful Darth Bane is. There's a lot more powerful dark side users than him, but love Darth Bane. Very underrated character. And so yeah, I put him at number 10 on the list. And yeah, what made him really, really powerful is not just his Force ability, but for him to create the Rule of Tool 2 and the dark side. That's what made him really powerful. Love Darth Bane. Let's go to number 9. Number 9 is a interesting character. Some may have not heard of him before, but his name is Darth Zion. Darth Zion survived the death through seer living. He's a living corpse held together by the dark side. So what made him really powerful is his anger. He's probably number 1 Sith Lord, with his anger being is what made him powerful. So his anger is probably the most strongest on this list, but his Force ability is what made him powerful as well. Put him at number 9 just because all the rest of the characters on this list are more powerful in the Force than Darth Zion, and the other characters were a lot more powerful in their prime. His prime not being that long, that's why he's not as high on this list. Absolutely love Darth Zion. If you don't know, if you're not familiar with the character and don't know that much about him, I highly recommend go researching about him. He's a very interesting character. I actually knew a lot about Darth Zion. That's why I did a little bit of research about the other characters, because I wasn't too familiar with their backstory. But every character featured in this video, I am very familiar with. Not their backstory, but I'm very familiar with their dark side Force. So love Darth Zion. He was a living corpse that just was held together by the dark side, and so that kind of explains that his prime wasn't as long as some of the other characters. Putting up number 9, and let's go to number 8. At number 8, I have Darth Malgus. He led the surprise attack on the Republic's capital. Malgus attempted to create his own independent empire of the Sith, and eventually, after so many long years, returned as Darth Vitiat's apprentice. Darth Malgus actually was featured in last video for my top 15 favorite Star Wars characters. Again, go check that video out if you haven't already. Darth Malgus, with him being in a battle with a Jedi, that Jedi Force pushed him into a rock wall, and he just got collapsed by rocks, and actually eventually got saved by his granddaughter and so he had to wear a mask to keep him alive. I actually have a Lego figure of him. Love Darth Malgus, and so his prime wasn't as long as the rest of the characters. Darth Zion and Darth Malgus' prime were about the same time. I mean, they both had probably the same time of type of prime. His just prime wasn't as long as maybe someone like Darth Vader or Darth Vitiate or Darth Sidious, who are all three featured later in this video. I actually really love Darth Malgus. He was featured in last video, and so yeah, I love Darth Malgus, and so yeah, he's at number 8. Let's go to number 7. At number 7, I have Darth Plagueis. He was the master of Darth Sidious. He achieved unprecedented mastery of the Force, theoretically manipulating midi-chlorians to create life, and eventually being killed by Darth Sidious in his sleep. Darth Plagueis with his master being Darth Tenebrous. Darth Plagueis, what made him really powerful is his anger. His anger is what made him very quick in battle. His anger is what made him very, very hard in battle, very aggressive in battle. And so most of these Sith Lords and most of these dark side users that have been featured in the video, their anger is what made them very aggressive in battle. And so Darth Plagueis was probably one of the most aggressive dark side users in battle. Absolutely love Darth Plagueis. Put him at number 7. And so let's go to number 6. Number 6, I have Arcane. He is the son of Darth Vitiate and the twin Theeksin. He was actually one of the most powerful Sith Lords in the Old Republic era, him getting his teachings by his father. Frustrated by his father's neglect, Arcane led the Eternal Empire's forces to conquer both the Galactic Republic and Sith Empire, eventually seized the Eternal Throne and killed his twin brother Theeksin, who is a very powerful dark side user as well. Him not being on this list, but being a very powerful Sith Lord. After he killed his brother, that's what made him his anger double. His anger was not his anger before he killed his brother did not make him as powerful as he was after he killed his brother. That's what made him very powerful. He ruled the Eternal Throne, and so he was, of course, the son of Darth Vitiate, who's also on this list. Very underrated character. He was in last video's the last video I made as well, the top 15 favorite Star Wars characters. And I love Arcane, very underrated character. He was in the Old Republic era and actually ruled with his father, and those two were actually two Sith Lords that ruled together, and the galaxy was just a mess because they were ruled by those two. Absolutely loved Arcane. I put him at number 6. So let's jump into the top 5. So at number 5, I have Darth Nihilus. Darth Nihilus, 8 planets, most famously the Mira Luca colony of the Qatar world. And so what made him powerful is he actually ate planets. He could consume planets, and that's what made him very powerful. He wielded a red lightsaber in combat, and so with him being able to eat planets, that's why I'm at number 5. And so the 4 ahead of him, they're more famously known for their force power. Darth Nihilus wasn't known for his force power. He could just consume planets, and so he wasn't as powerful in using the force than he was consuming planets. But I absolutely love Darth Nihilus. He was in the last video as well, and so that's what made him powerful. That's what made him powerful. His kill count was probably number 1 on this list just because he consumed planets. I still can't get over that. I love Darth Nihilus. Actually learned about him a few years ago. Played the video game that he's in, and so love Darth Nihilus. Have him at number 5. Let's go to number 4. Number 4 was actually featured in last video as well. Like I told you, a lot of these characters are featured in last video. Him being the number 4 being my favorite Sith Lord, but Darth Revan, a Jedi that turned to the dark side and then back to the light side. I absolutely love Darth Revan, his apprentice, of course, being Darth Malak, like I told you earlier in the video. Darth Revan, his anger, of course, what made him powerful, him being a Jedi Knight, and then turning to the dark side and then eventually turning back to the Republic. A lot just like Darth Vader, a Jedi that turned to the dark side, and his anger is what made him very powerful in combat. He would have 2 lightsabers, a red and purple one. That's actually what made him very successful in battles as well. He is probably the most successful Force user to wield 2 lightsabers. Not a double-bladed lightsaber, but 2 lightsabers. And so, love Darth Revan. He's at my number 4. Let's go to the top 3. Alright, so the top 3, they're all interchangeable, but they all have to be in someone's top 5. It's just crazy to leave all 3 of these characters out in someone's top 5. So at number 3, I have Dark Dimensions Vader. He's the most powerful version of Vader. Aggressive, and he's probably the number 1 character on this list. Maybe the number 1 character in the entire Star Wars galaxy that had the most anger in him. That's what made him very aggressive. He was that's the most powerful version of Darth Vader. More powerful than A New Hope. More powerful than when he was in Return of the Jedi, or when he was in The Empire Strikes Back. Dark Dimensions Vader, his anger was just what made him so powerful. He could not get over losing Padme Amidala, and so that's what made him very powerful. I have a number 3, and so, yeah. If you don't know too much about Dark Dimensions Vader, he's actually in the Legends Star Wars universe. But I love Dark Dimensions Vader. Let's go to number 2. Alright, so the top 2 are very interchangeable, but they both have to be in someone's top 5. It's just impossible to leave them out. But they're very interchangeable to me. Some may argue that number 2 should be number 1, or that number 1 should be number 2. It's just very interchangeable. But at number 2, I have Darth Sidious. A lot may argue that he's number 1, but I do think that number 1's a lot more powerful than him. He was the most powerful Sith Lord with Force lightning and killed Darth Plagueis. Of course, if you've seen all the Star Wars movies, he was, of course, the senator that hid from the Jedi, that he was the Sith Lord that the Jedi were looking for. Of course, him being the most powerful Force user in the entire Star Wars galaxy with Force lightning. He's very quick with it. And him, of course, turning Anakin Skywalker into the dark side. Him impregnating Shmi Skywalker and made her pregnant. That's why there was no father. And so a lot of people do not know that, but actually Darth Sidious impregnated Shmi Skywalker, and that's how Anakin Skywalker was born. Him killing Darth Plagueis in his sleep, that's what made him very powerful, very, very full of anger. His apprentice, of course, was Darth Maul, and then Count Dooku, and then, of course, Anakin Skywalker, him being eventually killed in the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Love Darth Sidious, very underrated character, but I do have him at 2, and so let's go to number 1. At number 1, I have Darth Vitiate. His children were Valen, Thexan, Arcane, and of course his parent being Draymith. He didn't get too much of the teachings from his parent Draymith, but he had 3 very successful Force users. Darth Vitiate is considered the most powerful Force user in the entire Star Wars timeline, and so that's what made him so powerful. His son being Arcane, like I told everyone, his Arcane was probably the most successful Force user, dark side user, out of all 3 of his children. I love Darth Vitiate. He was actually in the last video as well, the top 15 favorite Star Wars characters in my opinion. I love Darth Vitiate. What made him powerful is that he ruled most of the Old Republic era. He ruled most of it. His prime was probably one of the longest out of all these characters. That's what made him a lot more powerful than some of these characters. Some may argue that Sidious should be number 1 and that Vitiate may be 2 or 3. But I love Darth Vitiate. I think that he's the most powerful dark side user. Maybe, arguably, probably the strongest Force user of all time. And so, yeah, that wraps up the top 15. We do have a few honorable mentions, like Count Dooku. His Force lightning is what made him powerful in duels as well. Him being featured in Star Wars Attack of the Clones, Clone Wars, and of course Revenge of the Sith, where he got killed by Anakin Skywalker. He did not make the top 15 because of how easily he got killed by Anakin Skywalker. We do have Galen Marek Starkiller, the apprentice of Darth Vader, who was in Legends as well. But Darth Vader's apprentice, Galen Marek, did not make the top 15, but he's just outside the top 15. All these other Sith and dark side users were a lot more powerful in the Force than him. But absolutely love Galen Marek. He's probably one of the fastest Sith Lords of all time. And so he did wield 2 blue lightsabers before he turned to the dark side. And so I love Galen Marek, very underrated character. And so yeah, those are the couple honorable mentions that I have in today's video. But thank you so much for watching today's video. That was the top 15 most powerful dark side users. Some of them were Sith and some of them were just dark side users in general. Absolutely love all these characters. Very underrated characters, and I hope you learned something today. Thank you guys for staying and watching the video. Please subscribe, like, comment some videos that you want to see in the future. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any Star Wars content that I post. Go to my community tab. Go answer some of the polls that I post and go have fun over there. Go check out some of my shorts that I post as well. But thank you guys for watching today's video. Hope you guys learned something. May the Force be with you. God bless you, and have a great day.